The reason that you need that is you don't want anything to be touching the bottom or the base of this. Yo, welcome back to Urban Street 420. I'm your host, 40. The reason I couldn't clap is because I injured myself a few days ago. I'll leave a pic up at the top. If you're squeamish, don't look, right? Anyways, today what we're going to do is take an ultrasonic cleaner and we are going to clean our glassware. Whether it's a stubborn attachment, a stubborn bubbler, a stem, a bubbler, oh my, right? The reality is your bangers, doesn't matter how charred. You can clean all of your glassware in an ultrasonic cleaner and it's going to clean it better, more efficiently, easier. You're going to see what I'm talking about when we get started, right? Now I have a few pieces of glass that are really gunked up specifically for this video. I made sure they got dirty, whatever, because I wanted to show you the power of this, right? You're not going to be able to tell because I didn't take a before picture, but I did this yesterday, right? I have had this bubbler for I don't know how long, maybe 20 years or something like that. You can see inside the center of the glass column that's going down, it's clear, it's clean. What? It's never been like that since I bought it. Let's go to the other camera, right? Look how clean this got. It looks brand new, basically. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do right here with the ultrasonic cleaner. And what is an ultrasonic cleaner? So an ultrasonic cleaner does two things. It emits sound waves inside the device which create these little bubbles, microscopic bubbles that explode or burst in whatever solution that's in there. It could be water, it could be isopropyl alcohol, it could be water mixed with dish detergent, it could be CLR mixed with water, it could be a variety of things. I'm going to show you how I set this up and how I'm using it, and it's the way I recommend to clean your glassware, right? First things first, inside this device, if we pick this up, let's grab the GoPro and bring it in close, right? So if we pick this up, you're going to notice when you look inside, there is just water in here, right? There's a little caddy right here. I just left that in. As far as do you need that, the only reason that you need that is you don't want anything to be touching the bottom or the base of this. So leaving this caddy in there is a good idea. The reason that I put water in there is it's going to make it easier to clean. Let's put the GoPro back. If you put water inside the reservoir here, then you don't have to clean the reservoir, right? Of course, you could put isopropyl inside of this, but if you do that, then after every cleaning, you have to clean this device too. Instead, what I'm going to do is use a Ziploc bag. You don't have to use a Ziploc. You could use a jar made of plastic or glass. Seal your parts with isopropyl in the glass or the jar or whatever, or your Ziploc, and then put it inside there. Then the only thing you have to clean is the container, or if it's a Ziploc, you could throw this away, right? So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and this looks like a massive Ziploc. It looks like I bought the Granddaddy, and it's, okay, Ziploc's the name brand. This is not Ziploc. This is some other type of sealable bag, but anyways, I do have two things of isopropyl because this is almost out, and I did bring another thing of isopropyl so we could fill it up. So let's go ahead and start filling this up. You could also put salt if you wanted to, right? We're not going to right now. All I'm going to do is fill this up with some, and not fill it up. I'm going to put quite a bit of isopropyl in here, at least what's in here, maybe some from the other one. And then we're going to do a couple parts at a time. Now I could also go get a glass jar to show you that you could do that as well. I do have a bong over here that needs some cleaning. We might grab that too. Let's see how much of this isopropyl we end up using. That's the best part about this injury. It's in the place where your finger bends, and I'm trying not to bend it. I swear to God, everything you do equates to like bending or moving. Yesterday, I was opening a jar to mess with this, right? Because I did one with a jar in there or whatever. And when I opened the jar, I hit my finger and I almost passed out from pain. It was so crazy. Anyways, what's important when you fill this with isopropyl? There should be enough isopropyl to submerge the part. For example, when we do this, we need to make sure there's isopropyl inside. If this is just sitting in isopropyl, that won't do anything. It needs to have isopropyl all through the part, right? Because what's going to happen when we turn this on, the sound waves are going to create the bubbles within whatever the solution. In this case, it's going to be isopropyl. If there's isopropyl on the outside and those little bubbles are exploding, it's not doing anything to loosen this stuff on the inside. So that's pro tip number one. Well, pro tip number two. Pro tip number one is use a container, whether it's a Ziploc or a jar, whether it's glass or plastic, etc. Tip number two is make sure whatever part you're trying to clean is fully full of isopropyl, right? We'll do this one last. This one's probably going to be the hardest, right? First, let's start with this banger. Let's go to the other camera. This thing has a screensaver, goes black, right? But look how charred and disgusting this banger is, right? And I want to show you the power of this. I'm just going to drop this puppy in there, and we're going to do this for a couple pieces, because the reality is we don't have to just have, you don't have to do one piece at a time. I'm throwing these other pieces in there to get them clean. There were a couple stems from the Airizer Solo 3. So I'm cleaning a couple stems, I'm cleaning a banger and a carb cap. Let's go ahead and open this other isopropyl, because I think we need a little more isopropyl. Anyways, so if we see right here, you can see on the main camera, but let's go to this other one. You'll notice that everything is submerged, right? That's important, right? Now we're going to go ahead, and we don't need tons of air in here. We'll make sure everything is submerged, and we're just going to drop this in to this water bath, right? And when we do it, everything should start to float to the bottom. Let me go ahead and grab the GoPro just so you can see. When we come in here, you'll notice everything is just sitting on the bottom in the plastic bag. Now what we can do is take the top, put the top on, and the power button is here in the back, right? So if we go ahead, I think it's down there. If I turn this on, it should make a lovely noise to say, hey, we're on. And now you have some settings. On the left, this is your heat setting, right? It says the current temperature is set to 45 degrees Celsius, and the current temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. You could turn on the heat function for that, but I would not turn on the heat function too hot if you're using a Ziploc baggie. I don't know what the heat potential for this bag is. If you're using a glass jar, you could turn the heat setting on, no problem. Now keep in mind, it heating up to 45 degrees Celsius will take a long time. And by the way, to change the temperature, all we have to do is press up or down. It's super loud, right? And if we want to turn it on, you just press this button, and you'll notice the light comes on right here, which says it's heating up. The current temperature is 20 degrees. It will take such a long time to get to 45 degrees. We're going to turn it off. This setting on the right, this is how long you want it to work for. So the time is currently set to 5 minutes. Again, we can press up or down to change the time. This will turn it on. I'm going to turn it on. We'll stop talking, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you the outside, the inside of this device, as it's cleaning, and it should take about 5 minutes. We'll speed it up in post. I did not realize the low frequencies emitted from the ultrasonic cleaner affected the wireless transmission of audio, so there's no audio for this part. There's the beep, huh? This thing doesn't mess around. The beeps are loud, the unit's loud. It is what it is. Is there a way to make this quieter? So for example, if you have tinnitus or you have something where certain sounds bother you and the sound bothers you, I suppose what you could do is put some type of foam box around it, and that would dampen some of the sound. But the reality is that's how this thing works, is by sound. So getting rid of that noise, oof, it's not really part of the, the project. Let's go ahead and open this up. I haven't even looked to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and pick this up, and we'll move it over here. And I think it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. Everything looks fantastic except for the banger. The banger looks like it needs to be run again. But in order to show you, let me go ahead and grab a paper towel. We'll fish out a couple parts, and you may need to use a wire brush at this point, right? In fact, I see one of the parts that wants a wire brush right off the bat. Actually, as soon as I picked it up, all the oil that I saw on this is one of the stems. Oof, I gotta be careful. I keep bending this and it hurts. I don't want to start crying like a little girl on the channel. There's nothing wrong with crying, by the way. I'm not saying, of course, cry if you want. I just don't want to cry on channel, right? I prefer to be a pussy by myself. Anyways, jokes. So this is the Airizer WPA, the Solo 3 WPA, right? Water pipe adapter. Let me move this out of the way just so you can see. Look how crystal clear this looks. Now granted, it's still got some isopropyl in it, and we could take a wire cleaner in here if there was anything, and it would probably come off no problem. So this is one down, crystal clear. We'll move it off to the side, right? Now obviously, I think the carb cap, that would probably was the easiest thing to clean, so I don't expect this to be very impressive, but let's just look at it. It probably looks brand new, and it does, right? So here's the carb cap, looking brand new. Everything is spotless, perfect. I'll move this off to the side. Next, let's grab the long XL stem for the Air Riser Solo 3. Look at this. Crystal clear. I mean, we ran this thing for 5 minutes. Now, your next question probably is going to be, how long do you need to run the device? I'd put it for 5 minutes. Did it have to be 5 minutes? It really depends on how stubborn the gunk is, right? So I probably could have run it for less for these stems, but I knew that the banger we put in there was pretty dirty. Let me pull the banger out right now. And so I thought, you know, the reality is, let's go to the other camera. I mean, it's dramatically cleaner. For example, in this part right here, this is now all clear. But here it's a little dirty. However, let's see what happens when we put a paper towel in there. And again, I should have went and grabbed the wire brush. But it may be loose right now. And if we just put the paper towel, we turn the paper towel, it may pick up some of that oil. Let's see. It did pick up some. But as you can see, there's still gunk in here. Let's go to the other camera, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it again. I'm going to put it back in here. You'll see that the isopropyl is now a bit yellowish. There's some material or debris in there, and that's totally fine. Before I put in the Gordito bubbler, what I want to do is take this isopropyl and I want to try to fill the Gordito bubbler with isopropyl, right? Or at least in the center part. There we go. Something like, let's see if this is enough, what I just did. I don't know. We're going to put it in the isopropyl, and we are going to hopefully, look, you notice how it just, I'm moving it around inside the isopropyl so that it fills up with isopropyl, right? So even if I turn this on the side, maybe, look, like it's filling up more this way. There we go. And that's all I'm trying to do is really get this thing to fill up with isopropyl. That's it, right? Now, we're going to lay everything flat or move it around so it's got its own space, because right now, the bubbler and the banger want to stay on the same side, and we don't want that. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this in and see how these two things do. We'll do another 5 minutes. Like I said, we could have put some, what do you call it in here? We could have put some salt inside of the isopropyl, and it's not that anything is really agitating, but sometimes I've noticed that does a little something as well. We'll run this again for 5 minutes. We'll be right back. There we have it. The beep saying it's ready. Let's see what we got, baby. I did bring over a couple pipe cleaners that I use specifically and only for cleaning pipes and glass for 420 stuff, right? Let's go ahead and take this puppy out, and unbelievable. The Gordito bubbler, I could already tell, is spotless, right? And that is not the easiest thing to clean in some scenarios, but let's look at this puppy, right? Now, obviously, to get all of this stuff out right here, you're going to have to blow in the mouthpiece. In order to do that, what I should do is grab a paper towel, because isopropyl on your lips, oof, not nice. But obviously, to rid all the stuff in here, and I could probably go do this in the bathroom, but the idea is the video, and we're right here. So let me just wipe this part, and then I'll blow. All right. Now, there's still isopropyl in there a little bit, but this looks absolutely brand new, right? It looks like it's never been used ever. If you're going to sell any of your vapes or your glass or something like that, clean it first in ultrasonic cleaner, because the reality, look at this. It is spotless. Let's go to the other camera. This thing is absolutely spotless. There's some isopropyl in here, but we're going to get that out. But again, I don't know how well you can see this. Is my hand covering it, I hope? It is seriously, there's nothing. It is brand new. I'm telling you, this is the coolest way to clean your stuff. And to be honest, I just found out about this a couple of weeks ago and decided to try it, and I was blown away, right? So let's go ahead and take the banger that was seriously charred up, gunked up, and let's go ahead and take one of these pipe cleaners and put it in there and see if we can't further agitate the char, get everything cleaned up even better. And we are a bit, right? We might have to run this again. Again, it depends on how gunked up things are, but this looks 10 times better than it did before we cleaned it, right? And again, maybe it takes one more round or two more rounds, I don't know. But the way it looked before this was one way, and the way it looks now, entirely different way. So, let me show you, right? Let's go to the other camera. I don't know if you remember, but this was so gunked, and now it's getting there. It's almost there. I think we run it one or two more times, and it should be clean, right? I'm gonna put this back in because why not? And let's go ahead and try to fill this with isopropyl before we put it in the bag. And when I say fill it, I mean put into the mouthpiece, right? So I'm going to put this inside the bag. We're going to grab the isopropyl. Let's try to fill this the best we can. There we go. There's a lot of isopropyl in this, and I'm going to quickly drop it in the isopropyl so isopropyl stays in there. And now I showed you how dirty this is. I think this is going to be the biggest challenge for what we're doing. I'm not even going to close this plastic bag. I just want everything to float or go to the bottom. There we go. It's beeping, baby. Let's go ahead and take the top off. Let's take the parts out. Let's see how it did. And then what I'm going to do is talk to you about certain things that you should be looking out for and little tips and tricks in regards to using one of these, right? It looks like it did a phenomenal job, as I expected it would, baby. So this glass piece was caked in resin, like everywhere, right? So let's see if we can blow this out. First, try to clean the mouthpiece a bit, just to get the isopropyl out, right? All right, well, there is definitely some isopropyl still in there. Obviously, it's going to evaporate fairly quickly. I'm not that worried about it. What I'm going to do is show you on this camera. Let's move this out of the way, and then we'll check the banger, which for sure was the most stubborn of everything. The other thing I want to say is it depends on how long the oil was caked on and how hard it was caked on. If, for example, you recently used something and the oil is not really caked on there, etc., it will be easier to clean. And when I say easier, it just will take less time. I mean, this only took one cycle and it is spotless. There was oil here in this pipe, everywhere. Let's go to the other camera, right? Let me tap to make sure it's on. It is. Look how clean this is. It looks straight out of the factory, minus the isopropyl that's in there, but we're going to get that out. I'll do it over the sink. Got to blow, shake, etc. It will be all right, and of course it's going to evaporate anyway, right? But look how clean this is. It's unbelievable how well this works, right? Now this isopropyl just looks like dirty water, like swamp water or something like that, but otherwise it's fine. Let's go ahead and pick up this wire brush. Let's come over here and let's go ahead and scrape in there and let's see how well this is done. The reality is it still looks like it'd take another try, but at the same time, it is next to clean or next to perfect. It's just some caked on stuff at the bottom, and I think in order to get that out, it would be a good idea to add some salt or something that I could put in there and put it against it and agitate it a bit. Plus, this is a banger, so it's easy. I could just put salt and isopropyl in here and use a brush, and it should come off. Another thing is applying heat. So how could we do that, right? There's a bunch of different ways. Let me go grab something and let's use one of those ways. All right, I'm just gonna show you how you could do this. We're not gonna run it again. I've gotta do a few other things today, so let me show you this. I brought this glass jar. I put some salt in here. Now I just drop this in here. I go ahead and take the isopropyl, and we can use the same isopropyl we were using for everything else. Now, let's talk about that also. I hope I don't make a massive mess here. Oh, ooh, this is so dangerous, baby. Now, how many times can you reuse this isopropyl? The reality is, what we could do is strain this through some cheesecloth, etc., to get out any particulate matter. Now, this is glass on glass, right? Don't commit glass on glass crime, right? So don't shake it up. It would probably break the banger that's in there. But all I'm doing is moving things around, And look, it's that simple. Now what I could do is just drop this whole jar inside this machine, right? Same as I did with the Ziploc or the bag that seals like that or whatever. I just drop this puppy in and it's good to go, right? Another thing that you could do, for example, I brought this bong over to show. I'm not going to clean it right now, but because we need to put a lot of isopropyl, and I'll probably have to take some for this bag, some new stuff. But if we put isopropyl in here, and just make sure nothing is coming out, I can just put the bong inside of there without anything. Just make sure that the water inside there doesn't touch here so it doesn't leak in. It's going to do its thing just while it sits in there. It's going to make whatever's in here bubble up, explode. And when I say explode, it's just these little microscopic bubbles that are either in the water or the alcohol or whatever solution you're using that are just popping and loosening stuff, right? Anyways, if you don't have one of these, you're missing out, because look what it does to your glass. It makes it spick and span brand new. Not just if you're going to sell the device. You could do a bunch. They also have different sizes of these. I do not have a very large one, but they do have big ones. And what else could this be good for? So for example, let's say you work with resin, rosin, etc., and your jars are caked, whatever, and caked, right? If you want to clean those puppies up, use something like this. It's super easy. You could just put the jars in there full of cleaning solution, make sure it's all filled to the top of the cleaning solution, seal it up, put it inside, run it. Everything will be spick and span and ready to be used for your next run, right? Anyways, guys, if you want to pick one of these up, I'll have a link to Vivo or where I purchased this one, and they are inexpensive. In fact, more inexpensive than other brands, and it works flawlessly. Anyways, guys, gals, oh, I hope the finger is okay. I'm planning to do a review tomorrow. I had planned this week to go entirely different, by the way. The thing is, I started the week by working on the website. I've got the shop up and running, and when you guys say, oh wait, the shirts and that stuff already existed, it does. But the shirts are done by a print-on-demand supplier called Teespring, and that's who's printing my t-shirts, because I can't stock enough t-shirts, right? There's no room in my house, number one. Number two, I can't just sit on 1,000 shirts at the house. But all the other stuff, the artwork, the prints, the stickers, the buttons, those kind of things, I have here because I've always had here. So I released the shop. I'm going to start adding the 420 artwork. Go check it out, herbistry420.com. It supports the channel. It's super appreciated. But I started the week like that. And then I was like, I had all these plans, but then I injured myself. Ugh. Anyway, so tomorrow what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a review on the Herb Cloud Titan Chamber using the Chill Stream top. Oh my, it is unique. It's different. The things you can do with this device is ridiculous. You can just keep changing with the different attachments. It changes the experience. Anyways, we'll get into it tomorrow. Real simply put, I just want to end by saying, if you use this, do not fill this with isopropyl and clean it that way. Otherwise, you have to clean the device. There is an outlet on the side, a little turning valve. I don't know if you can see. Let's go to the GoPro real quick. If I put this on top right quick, you'll just see there's a thing. If we pull this, all the liquid that's in here would come out here. So you can empty it that way. Of course, we could have just unplug and disconnect it and go dump everything out as well, right? Which we'll do after I run this again. I'm going to clean the part that's in there. But guys, gals, everybody, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, baby. I need to be careful because I keep hitting this shit. Anyways, till next time, bye-bye.